Welcome to the after show for episode 87. That's right, we finally recorded another one.
Hey.
Hey, boys. If this is your first time tuning in, this is not the main episode.
No, it's definitely not.
We are the hating ass bitch boys of the main episode.
Yeah.
Where we talk about leftover songs and random topics of interest.
Yes.
If that didn't make sense to you, it will make sense soon enough.
It still doesn't make sense to me.
The sentence doesn't make sense, but the sentiment,
grammatically,
totally, right? This show is the hating ass bitch boy of the main episode.
It's true,
right?
It's true.
Like the main episode's the cool, informational, like well balanced discussion. This is like the hating ass bitch, like squawk. We squawking.
We're squawking down here
in the back, baby.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, but we wanted to start this after show.
Yep.
With we talked about it with some bangers. Big bangers.
So the reason why we left these songs out of the main episode is because they don't really have kind of music videos and they kind of fall under the same genre.
Yeah, and we felt that we talked a lot about kind of the R&B style songs, and we wanted to push them all together. Also, I found out one of them came out like a month and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah, this one. The second one we're going to talk about, and I was like, I didn't even notice. But let's start with the first song. The first song is by the dude with the best name ever.
Easily.
Snacky Chan featuring Babylon with their song Out of Time.
Yeah, that's right. Come on. Yo. 어제는 역사, 내일은 mystery. 현재는 선물, 오늘 밤 is a gift to me. Party like 1999. 883 조르는 신고. So fresh, so clean, 난 신선해. 특별 피나는 별 삶은 익숙해. Yeah, say hello to the good life. 음악 멈추지 마, know it's gonna be a good night. 몸 대고 dance, numb in the pants. Cause the booty sound deep, 그녀의 passion got sense. Hater들 입 열어, 이거 뭐가 하늘에서 열어 떨어지는 듯이 바로 shut up! You look mucher, I look mucher. 놀라지 마, 뒤쪽 if I touch ya. 술술이 수는 외로 파도처럼 덮쳐. 우리 미친다고 생각하면 멋져.
Oh, baby, tonight. Oh, lady, have a good night. Oh, baby, tonight. Oh, everything gonna be alright.
Everything gon' be alright. 부모에게 문자 보내 we gon' be all night. 밤새 like G담아. 내일은 뭐라고? 같이 살아있잖아. 너무 가까이 오지 마. 흰색 포르쉐 밟으면 죽어버려 임마. I don't need that drama. 필요한 것 그때 공주가 commas. 버킷에 아이스부터 담아. 몇 잔 들어간 후 못 참아. Time to turn up, no burn up. 마이크 없어도 날아가 boy word up. 내 주변에 보면 속 터져. 주머니 비워 네 커지들 꺼져. 내 구하고 가족의 잔 채워줘. 이유 없이 컴백 when yeah we so dope.
Snacky Chan.
Yeah, don't know too much about Snacky Chan, but we did like his last single, Dummies for My Daughter.
Yeah, Dummy for My Daughter.
Dummy for My Daughter.
In Korean, it definitely makes sense, but when you translate it to English, it's like, what the fuck are you trying to say?
I think it's what, like, he'll do anything for his daughter,
It's
right?
like so there's kind of like a saying in like Korean, you're either a dummy or you're like really weak against something, which means like you're like a daddy's girl or you're things like that. So
There's definitely some daddy's girls in Korea. But, in America, too.
yeah.
I was talking to, not to start off this after show with the tangent, but
Let's do it.
we the hating ass bitch boys.
Let's do it.
I was talking to some of my students because we had just recently gone to a new school. I was talking we had new students because the school year just started. So we're just asking my brothers and sisters, blah blah blah, and I was just like, how many kids here, are single?
Yeah, don't have any brothers.
Yeah, don't have any brothers or sisters, and it's so rare here.
Yeah.
And like in America, where I was a teacher, like there were a lot of kids, that
were
just single people. But here is, it's just so rare. And then I thought about it, I'm like, I actually really don't know that many Asian families that have only one child.
It's usually at least 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's pretty similar in the States, at least for Asian people.
Yeah, maybe it was just a weird sample size in my school, but like it really felt that like usually like more white people had bigger. It's more
Smaller,
single
yeah.
children families.
Yeah.
But anyways, we ended up talking about how like the problems with having too many kids. And, the Reply 1998 kind of shit happens. Or Reply 1988.
Yeah, you said it. Yeah,
yeah.
Right.
Where, like, there's a middle child, and that's the child that...
Yeah.
Or, you're the only child, and then you're a princess, And it was weirdly, like, deep for, like, introduction days.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but, like... I kind of had the same thing. Oh, I'm just going tangent off your tangent.
Let's go, baby.
So one of my classes, like, they asked me these, like, really deep-ass questions that I was not, like, even, like, remotely even thinking of, right? Like, so normal questions people ask are, like, how old are you? Are you married? How tall are you, right?
So she was like, what are your fundamental beliefs about the educational system?
No, she was like, what would you consider a habit of yours? And I was like...
Masturbating?
And I was like... What? What do you mean have like hobby? And she's like, no, not a hobby. And she like said it in Korean, and I was like, yeah, that's habit. That's like 습관. 습관 is like habit.
That's different than hobby?
Yeah. Hobby is 취미. And so she was kind of like, what are your habits? And I was like, what do you mean?
I don't even know what that means. Oh, I buy my nails?
Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah. And then the same student later on asked, she was like, and this is like in perfect English, not perfect, but obviously it was pretty
perfect
good
in the Korean
sense. Yeah, and she was like, "What is your first happy memory?" And I was like, "The fuck, girl, what you thinking about?" Like,
this girl's been reading some books, man.
Yeah, she's definitely reading some books. And then again, she asked me, she was like, "What was your first love like?" And I was like, "Very sad."
It's true. Oh, first love is a relatively common question because it's very important in Korean society. But what is your first happy memory? That's like some deep ass. Like I went to the psychiatrist, and then that's when you realize I didn't have one. And that's why you're serial killer.
I felt like she was like a psychologist, and I was like, well,
I remember when.
What do you consider your habits? Tell me about your first memory.
Yeah. What would habits is such a weird
happy childhood, like questions asked like that.
Yeah. Or maybe she just really was into you and was like, I need to know everything about you so I can stalk you and
she didn't ask my blood type or anything, no.
See, that's too common though. That's too common. But anyways, Snacky Chan. He's of course a rapper.
Yeah.
Babylon, who I will always call Babylon. He's a very smooth singer. Now, in this song specifically, he kind of sings, like, at least for me, in kind of like a Michael Jackson-y kind of emulation, which is not normal. Like, when I heard him in, like, Boys and Girls, he sounds very different than what he sounds like in this song.
Yeah.
I really, really love this song. It's got this like jazzy, like, boom bum bum kind of thing that happens.
Yeah, kind of this, like, how would I describe it? It's really just it's not very common.
It's like, it's not a beat, right? It's not part of the backing track.
It's kind of like a riff.
Yeah. It's not like some dude in the back just like and there's like a girl voice in this song that also will just like, not randomly, but it's not part of the overall noise. It just shows up at certain times, and I really like that. Yeah, I really like that.
And Babylon, I think, is a really good like kind of featuring artist because his singing style, I feel, suits a lot of different genres. Like he can sing kind of like the rappy hooks, and I think he could do well singing R&B hooks as well, or even like poppy hooks. But I mean, I would like to see him like start something solo and see how that would go, because mainly I only see his name on featuring things, right? Like this song, Boys and Girls, the next song we're going to talk about. Like obviously he's doing some work, but he's not releasing any solo stuff. Yeah.
I just don't know, like, in the end, what's his solo going to be? I can't imagine a song just him, right?
Kind of like Crush, right? Like Crush is kind of a featuring singer, and to a degree, like Zion T, right? Zion T also.
But, 8 times out of 10, all of the Crush and Zion T has a featured rapper, right? Or has another person join them in the track. Because, I don't know, you like the Crush stuff more than me, and you definitely like Zion T more than me, so... but it'll be interesting. Because in my head, he's always going to be that dude in Boys and Girls that looks like he's like that 10-year-old. He's like that 10-year-old trying to hang out with like his 16-year-old brother's friends. Where he's like, you have a grill? Oh, I love grills. Oh, I'm hip hop. Yo.
I want to, and like he gets his first cap or something.
He's like, I'm rolling with the big kids now. That's what he kind of looks like in that Boys and Girls video.
And then he gets jacked, and then he goes running to his brother crying. Yeah.
Like Snacky Chan.
Snacky Chan. Yo. Yeah. Some guy took my grills. Like, yeah.
But yeah, this song, like, I think I like this song. Like, we were debating on picking, like,
almost all of these songs
is the best of last episode. So, if you like R&B, check out this song. Yeah. Or check out the next one. What's the next one, Josh?
So the next song is Microdot with Celebrate.
New cars, bigger house, we so blessed. Oakland City, what we about to do? We gon' celebrate. Let's go. I don't care. 그런 건 중요하지 않지. 그 누구도 너에게 뭐라 할 자격 없어. 그대로가 좋은 걸. Let's go. They call her name. We roll up, 사진은 골라내. Okay, hold up. Babylon Prime Boy, Fast Knock. The Q Microdot, 깜짝 놀랄만한 사건. 우린 갑을 갚을 사이가 아니지. 누가 제일 잘 나가 상관없단 말이지. 모두가 갑이지. 편한 가르지. 고리 없이 연결된 게 너와 나의 차이지. 이미 공연장은 팬들로 차있지. 뒤에 대기실에 형들이 와있지. 누가 뭐라 하건 give it 300. 이건 hustle 랩이 아냐 hustle life from New Zealand. 그 누구도 널 판단할 수는 없어. 포기하지 마라 대체 뭐가 두려워서 혼자서 넌 잘해왔어 남의 시선들은 어서 push your man if you done it you can do it again we out you we out 어디서 뭐 했는지 I don't care 그런 건 중요하지 않지 그 누구도 너에게 뭐라 할 자격 없어 그대로가 좋은 걸 Let's go
Now, I was going to read all the featuring artists, but I felt like it was a little bit too long, so I'll just read it now. So, Microdot.
It doesn't matter when you read it.
Quiett, Archingu Babylon, and Dirty Sanchez.
Dirty Sanchez.
So Sanchez is like doing a rapping thing now, right?
Yeah, someone messaged or left a comment on YouTube that was like, Sanchez is going to audition for Show Me the Money 5. Yeah. And I'm like, that could be awesome.
Or really bad.
But, like, I think, what does Show Me the Money actually care about? They care if you're good looking. Yeah. And they care if you can rap. And if you can sing, it's even better because you can kind of do both, right, on a track. And I think Sanchez, like, we've heard him rap before.
Yeah,
he's not bad. He's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good, actually. And so this song came out a while ago, you said.
Yeah, this is the one where, like, I found out it came out, like, in middle of February.
Oh, that's really interesting that it slipped through the cracks because this is a really, really good song. You would think there's like too many cooks in the kitchen because it's just like 4 or 5 people on the song, but it actually does like meld together really, really well.
I don't like the Quiett's rapping part as much. It's near the end. I really like Microdot's rapping. I think Sanchez does his kind of hook part very well, and Babylon, of course, still babying it up. I didn't like the Quiet's as much. But.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know too much about the Quiett, and honestly, his part was also kind of meh for me as well. But overall, like, songs that have like a lot of rappers or singers, they kind of run into this problem of like, with Epic High when they released Born Hater, like that song was really, really long. It just felt like
he kept just rapping and
rapping. I mean, I really, really liked that song because each rapper had their own style, and I pretty much liked all those rappers on that track. But if there was like another Quiett on this track, I definitely would like it less than I do now. So.
Well, for me, I think like the Microdot Babylon Sanchez style matched the song and matched each other decently well. Very kind of brand new music kind of style, even though I know Microdot's not. But then the Quiett comes in and he comes in with like that like
really
Duck 2, that kind of like more hip hop kind of style. The more we in there.
A little bit too G.
A little bit, yes, a little bit too wannabe G, and I just didn't think it matched the song very well. But it doesn't matter because I think as a whole, it's still like a really great song. I'm actually really surprised we didn't hear about it until recently.
And the producing style of the song really reminds me of like a brand new music or an AOMG, because when I heard this song, I really thought it was produced by Cha Cha Malone.
Yes, and you do hold. The next song we're going to talk about, you get these confused, even though I don't think they sound that similar, but I mean...
I don't think the songs themselves sound similar, but the styles definitely make me think that they were produced by the same person, if that makes any sense. But yeah, what's the next song, Sam?
Yeah, the next song is by our Chingu. Not with a guitar, but with a crazy-ass head tattoo nowadays. That is J Park with his song, All I Wanna Do.
Girl, pardon me, I don't mean to be rude, but I got some paper, wanna spend it on you. All I wanna do is kick it with you. Bottles on deck with you and your crew. Baby, swing by, girl, you should come through. All I wanna do is kick it with you. Ooh, girl, look at you, baby, almost looking flyer than me. And I got that gold rollie with the bezel and Louis Vuitton on my body. And I know this shit don't impress you, so no bullshit, girl, nothing extra. Girl, I ain't playing games. I wanna take you home, I'm just being frank. Oh yeah, I've been fantasizing about you all night. Put your panties to the side if it's alright. Girl, pardon me, I don't mean to be rude, but I got some paper, wanna spend it on you. All I wanna do is kick it with you. On deck with you and your crew. Baby, swing by, girl, you should come through. All I wanna do is kick it with you. Alright, yeah. Let's kick it. A little bit of drinking and a little bit of kissing. Oh, yeah. Chico on the ones and twos, yeah, he be spinning this shit. Ain't poppin' pussy, it be purring like a kid, yeah boy. It's CF to the soul, it's AO to the MGJ and Cha-Cha to Malone. Put this in your stereo or on your mobile phone. Don't got time for child's play, cause all of us are grown. Oh shit, don't be a hatin' ass bitch boy. Don't be a hatin' ass bitch boy, I don't care. Yeah, we getting rich boy, me and my homies getting rich boy.
J Park has a head tattoo?
Yeah, someone also told me, or I think on Twitter, messaged me and was like, hey, what do you think about J Park's new tattoo? And I'm like, I don't know, like...
Can I look at it right now?
Yeah, it's like on the back of his head. It's like an angel or something. This is, I mean, it's the after show, so I guess who cares?
Yeah,
but
stick around.
J Park head tattoo. Oh, I spelled no O. There we go. J Park has now tattooed most of the back of his head. Bam!
Oh my God! Why would you do that?
Now, I'm gonna try to show the camera. I don't know how well this is gonna translate.
Do you see
in focus or not? But it's pretty much a dude, an archangel or an angel, I guess. But it's on the back of his head.
That is really.
I mean, like I think as we know from his like growing sleeve, like it's not even growing. Like his whole body's gonna be covered soon. Yeah. Like he's been really ramping it up. But like I don't think it's like that awful because like you can cover it up with hair. It's not the front, right? It's not the front of his face or like the front of his neck, right? Or the back of his, something that's showable, like.
Yeah.
But that's J Park, dude.
That's fucking.
The thing with tattoos is like I don't mind tattoos. Like I think tattoos can work for certain people, but like. The problem is, I think tattoos look really good at a certain time frame of your life. You know, like right now, it looks great. I think on J Park because that's
young.
his style.
Yeah.
That he's young, he's fit. Like,
but he's not gonna be hip hop forever. Like
he's gonna think he can be K-pop forever.
He's not gonna have this like style when he's like 80 years old, right?
Well, I think that's the problem. I think the problem is like he will have the style when he's 80, and everyone's gonna be like, "The fuck is wrong with you? You're 80 years old. Why are you still a bitch boy? You know, why are you a bitch boy?" But like, you know, that's the problem with tattoos. It's like because you grow, right? Like it looks fine now, right? But who knows what it's gonna look like in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Well, he has a giant head tattoo.
Huge.
Anyway, so Jay Park released kind of like a pre-release to his new kind of album that will be coming out soon, or mini album.
And the song is produced by Cha Cha Malone. So.
Yep. And you know that because he whispers it. And Jay Park mentions Cha Cha in the song, as he always does.
Cha beat boy.
A B-boy.
That's the new like Brave Sound Drop It.
It's true.
It's a new Brave Sound Drop It.
But like I never minded that because like most people don't know producer names, right? So like you sneak it in a song, people are gonna know.
It's a very American thing to do.
Like,
you know.
And Cha Cha Malone be American. That's all I think. He's got to be, right?
He's got to be, yeah.
Could be Canadian. I don't know. Maybe Cha Cha is like Canada.
No, that's the stretch.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
That's a fucking stretch.
But either way, so we listened to this whole song, right?
Yeah.
And we were like, damn, this song's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Damn. And then like after I listened to it, we listened to it.
We read the comments.
I was looking at the comments and I was like, hey, Josh, because he was playing on his phone, as he always is.
Oh, I
and
always do.
Not paying attention.
Never
and I was
pay
like,
attention.
hey, Josh, like, let's listen to it again. And then we were listening to it again, and Josh was like, yeah. And I'm like, hey, Josh, how much English is in this song? And you were like, I don't know. And I'm like, Josh, it is all in English.
And I
you were
was
like, what the
shit.
fuck?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Because this is like a very Korean hip hop sounding song, right? As like Jay Park does a lot of. But it just did not make sense in my mind that there was like no Korean in it.
Yeah, like in my head, like I think both of us have gotten so desensitized to listening to lyrics, right?
Yeah.
That we're mostly just listening to the cadence of their voice and the rhythm and the overall song. And I was like, there's no way this is in English. And then we listened to it again. I was like, holy shit, it's all in English.
All in English.
It is all in English.
And that like sparked like this thought in my mind, like if this was just an American like kind of Western release, would I listen to it the same as
like if it just showed up on the radio?
Would I like it as much as I like it now, right? And Steven said resoundingly no.
Yes.
And for me, obviously, I don't really know yes or no because I do like this style, but it's very reminiscent of like Korean hip hop, you know.
Well, like for me, it's not even in the style. For me, it's the lyrics. Like there's a reason why I stopped listening to American rap a long time ago. Is because like I like lyrics. I like rhyming. I'm very, very big on rhyming specifically. I really like it. And when rappers are great, they're really great at rapping. And I'm not a huge fan of the wordplay rapping, right? Like the Lil Wayne and his legacy.
What I like to call like kind of clever one-hitters. Kind of like, I have more shine than chrome or something, you know, some really stupid simile.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, I say the thing, and then there's a one-liner at the end, right? That's like wordplay rapping. I'm not a huge fan.
Not a huge fan of that either.
But you know, I have even wordplay rapping. There's some amalgam of like creativity that I'm like, I give you props for, right? Like I like Lil Wayne. You know, I think he does what he does just fine.
Yeah.
I've liked Lil Wayne songs. And then nowadays there's that whole rapping where they just say what the fuck they want, right? Your future, you can't even understand what that motherfucker be saying, right?
He's mumbling, just
yeah.
Where the day it's like, is he having a stroke? I don't know if the dude's having a stroke.
You have absolutely no idea. And so I'm really big on lyrics. So once I realize it's in English, I'm listening to the lyrics, and I'm like,
look at the lyrics.
And I'm just like, these lyrics are so bad, it makes the song worse. It makes the song worse, in my opinion.
Give us a little taste of some, Steven. Give us a little taste.
The major problem for me is that none of it rhymes. And like, there's rhyming where it's actual real rhyming, and there's rhyming that most rappers do. It's like, at least they rhyme you, with do, right? They at least rhyme technically, just albeit with the same word. Jay Park don't even try like in most of the songs.
Some of this is like really bad.
But I think, you know, the best is, of course, don't be a hey ass bitch boy. Don't be a hey ass bitch boy. I don't care. We getting rich, boy. Me and my homies getting rich, boy.
Yeah, so you just
That's a great
just rhyme boy
with boy
with bitch boy with rich boy.
Yeah, but just the whole idea, like if I met anyone in real life and was like, "Don't be a hating ass bitch boy," I would instantly be like, "You're a fucking idiot. Get out of my fucking
You're a
face."
ass bitch boy. Like.
No, people who say don't be a hating ass bitch boy are usually the guys who are hating ass bitch boys.
That's what I mean.
Okay, that's what you mean. Okay.
So, we're saying like a lot of bad things about the lyrics, but we do really like the song.
Yeah.
And Steven and I are big fans, I think, of Jay Park's kind of singing style. Like,
I mean, I think his last year has really
been really
made
good.
me really like almost everything that he's made.
Yeah. It might be his producers, or he's kind of changing up his style a little bit, but
like he's so like, you know, charismatic,
Yeah.
and he does his things, you know, so well, but like writing lyrics is 100% not his strong suit. Like,
no.
you know, maybe I'll never say that to his face, you know, because his head tattoo and his gang of friends are there. But like, if I was friends with Jay Park and he was like, "Yo, I got my new track," I'd be like, "Yo, dude, these lyrics are fucking weak."
How many of those lines did you write yourself? Is what I'm gonna ask him, right? Like, he's like, "Hey, I made this new song. It's fire, man. Listen to it." I'm like,
and that doesn't
how many
mean
of these lyrics did you write yourself?
Well, he probably wrote all of them.
And I'm like,
because they're not good.
Yeah, change some of these.
Of course, you know, I don't know. I don't even know. It's just like, I don't want to read just a bit of it because it's out of context. It's just kind of like, let's kick it. A little bit of drinking and a little bit of kissing. Ace Chico on the ones and twos. Yeah, he be spinning this shit. Hey, pop that pussy. It'd be purring like a kitten. Where does kitten rhyme with any of those words? I don't know. I guess kissing.
Kissing, maybe.
Kissing and kitten. And then it's just lyrics that are meaningless, right? They're meaningless. They don't say anything.
I think he's like rapping like a hype man would say things.
Like he in the back?
Yeah, like Ace Chico on the ones and twos.
Yeah.
Saying shit like that, right? Like, you know, spinning that shit. Yeah, boy. Ayo to the OMG. Like, that's what hype guys say, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, even in the song, I think some of the lyrics don't even flow off his tongue super well with the beat.
Cadence-wise, no.
Yeah, cadence-wise. Like, sometimes it has, like, way too many syllables. But, you know, again, it doesn't mean I can write better, right? But that's not the barometer for liking anything, right? Like, I hate it when people...
Yeah, just because you can write better than Steven doesn't make you, you know, fucking Mozart, right? Like,
yeah, like, you don't have to be Mozart to critique anything, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be, you know, Steven Spielberg to critique movies, right? But again, in the long run, I'm like, it's a pretty good song.
Yeah.
The English kind of it makes it a little worse for me, but
we like singing Jay Park.
well, I like singing. I just don't like this attitude. Like, maybe, you know, outside of this world where it's like my normal personality of like, if I ever met somebody who would ever say anything at all like these lyrics, I would be like, get the fuck out of my fucking face, you a bitch boy.
You're a hating ass bitch boy.
But see, you know, I am a hating ass bitch boy.
Oh, I didn't mean you. I inserted myself
into my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, again though, still a great song, I think, you know, in the K-pop sense. But if this song dropped and I was listening to it on like 106.1 back home, I'd be like, this is weird.
What is this?
This is weird. It's like right after a Future song and a Drake song, and you'd be like, this song. Yeah.
That's my future.
Yeah, you already did it today.
Pretty good,
Thank
right?
you.
It's pretty good, right?
I'm not gonna say it's good, but
Pretty good.
you know, you did. You know Ariana Grande, okay? You know,
she was good.
No, she fucking good. But yeah, the last song we want to talk about is not one of these hip hop songs, but was the biggest release of the last 2 weeks.
I think so, yeah.
But we didn't talk about our main episode.
I was going to, but then we swapped it out and we wanted to talk about it in the after show.
Yeah. So what song is this, Josh?
This song is Lee High with Hold My Hand.
Let me hold your hand again and again and again. I want you to come back. I want you to love me again. 나의 손을 잡던 그대의 손길이 얼마나 따뜻했는지 다시 알 수 있게 한 번만 더 손잡아줘요 온기를 느끼게 해줘요 바람이 불어서 차갑단 말이에요 Let me hold your hand again and again and again I want you to come back I want you to love me again 나를 안아주던
Yes, Lehigh finally came back. It's been a while.
Yeah, I keep
It's been a
forgetting
long while.
that she's like really young.
Yep. I
Yeah.
mean, she looks really young.
Yeah, but her voice is because her voice just sounds very like an older, like middle-aged woman.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it's really, really good because I do really like Lehigh's voice, but it's just looking at it just like, are you the person singing?
She's like one of those, it happened in K-Pop Star when she came on, but it was like, every year there's someone on one of those America's Got Talent
Yeah.
or whatever, where you're like, you're not going to believe
The voice
the
doesn't
voice
match
that
the
this
body.
person has. Yeah. Where it's like the fat Asian guy who can sing like opera or
Yeah.
the old man who can sing blah, blah, blah. It's like, she's one of those people where
Yeah.
you're like, there's no way this
Has a
tiny
voice
Asian
coming,
girl
yeah.
has this voice.
Yeah.
And her voice is amazing.
Yeah.
Right? And we were very excited to hear that she was coming back. But I just thought that this song was kind of Hold My Hand is not a bad song.
No. I would even say it's good.
Yeah, I mean when I hear it more, I'm like, okay, it's a decent song.
Yeah.
But it's just such a generic-y plain song for me.
I wouldn't say generic in the way that we normally use generic, but I would say like kind of bland from what I'm expecting of Lehigh.
Yeah, bland might be a better
like
a better.
if this was like another artist, I think I could get down with it, right? Like if some Nugu like
some
solo
rando
singer,
girl came out.
we would be like, oh, that's pretty good for Nugu, right? But Lehigh, like we're expecting something really powerful. We're expecting something like really funky or jazzy, right? I think we just had really high expectations for what she was gonna release. And she does sing like a lot. I've listened to the album. She does sing a lot of like ballads, and she does have a few kind of like rap songs in there as well. But this song,
like she's rapping?
or
is she-
no, it's like I think she has a song with like Dok-E, Dok-2 for all my non-Korean
Yeah, I
speakers.
call him Doug too.
But
Weird.
this song it's good.
To
but
be
it's just
fair,
not,
I've never really liked her. Like I've never been like top 10 one of her songs.
Yeah.
Like
But
her
we-
songs have always been
yeah.
okay to me. Maybe you like them more than me, but like I was just excited because she's in Tableau's underground label, right? She's
Yeah.
not in the real YG label, so I was like, man, Tableau could put some stank on it. Tableau could put some like uniqueness to it, right?
Yeah.
And like what kind of this song was kind of came out was like just a generic YG song, right?
yeah, it's very just poppy. I would consider it kind of like a pop jazz hit. It's not really jazz. It's not really funk. It's just a pop song that has those elements in it.
And we were also talking about how like, one of the reasons like Act On Musician is so good is because their songs are so unique, right? They're like they're not the best singers in the world.
No.
He's definitely not the best rapper in the world.
No.
But like their songs, like you hear a song, you're like, this is an Act On Musician song.
They have their
Awesome.
own so the good and bad thing about Act On depends on how you look at it, right? Like Act On musicians, a lot of their songs, they sound similar to their own songs, right?
Yeah.
But they have like a specific style.
Yeah.
And when you hear the song, you're like, oh, is this Act On musician? Like you'll know right away because of one, their singing style, the way they compose their songs, right? And I think that is just really something that will make you successful, at least a cult classic, like in the K-pop scene right now, if you're not doing what everyone else is doing and it's really kind of something people can get behind. And Lehigh, I think, kind of went like half and half. Like she was like, not really a K-pop idol. She was more like a solo singer. And now she's doing this song that's kind of very, I think, K-pop idol-y. I think that's why you think it's generic.
Well, I wasn't exactly going there because I think some of her past songs she really tried, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like she
That
really
was very
tried to be
K-pop
K-poppy.
idol, yeah.
I mentioned Akdong because I think Akdong sounds the same, but I also think Lehigh sounds the same. It's just the fact that I like the
More
Akdong
happy.
samey style because it's more fun and it's more interesting, and I think in their sameness it's more unique than in Lehigh's sameness because like the only thing Lehigh has going for her is her amazing voice, but Akdong has their entire song
like
style.
quirkiness.
Yeah, their
kind of
entire
quirkiness.
quirkiness of their entire package is different.
Yeah.
And I just think Lehigh's like what was released was kind of just more of the samey Lehigh. Because if I heard this song, I'm pretty sure I can be like, that's definitely Lehigh, or I'd be like, yo, is this Lehigh?
You see, like for me, I think I'm in like a different camp, but not really. Like I feel like Lehigh has not really cemented a kind of persona like Akdong, where like, because when you look at Akdong, they're like, oh, they're just like brother and sister, like really cheerful, really quirky, looks like they're having fun all the time. But like Lehigh, she's done things like Rose, right?
Yeah, but I'm not talking about. I'm saying she doesn't have that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like Akdong has the entire persona package, voice, song quality, like as a thing, and Lehigh, all she has is her voice to tie her things together.
I think I get what you're at.
And like she doesn't have a uniqueness to her other than that her voice, and I don't even think they take advantage of her voice super well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I'm trying to get at. Like Lehigh, she's done all these different styles, but it hasn't been anything besides like, man, Lehigh has a great voice, right?
Yeah. I do think the music video is really cool though.
The music video, it was really well kind of, I think, storyboarded.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of interesting elements in it.
Yeah. And like it I wish I could talk more about it because I love music videos and like it's one of those videos where it's like it's not digipetty.
No.
It's not a box video. Like it's a really cool. It's not a half drama video, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a pretty cool video. It's shot, cool, and it has the side graphics that make it look really cool. So I do want to say that I think the video is really awesome.
Yeah. So the song itself is pretty good, but it does kind of get old after a while, after a few listens. But the music video, I think, has kind of like a lasting quality. I think that a lot of like future music videos can kind of emulate or kind of put their own stank on.
I just wish they would use, not like it's gonna sound bad,
Yeah.
but it's the after show, who cares? But like I just wish they would use that style of video for a more important artist. Like I don't mean to dismiss Lehigh, right? But like why can't Big Bang get a interesting video like this? Why can't 21 get an interesting video like this? Why are their videos always the same kind of generic-y kind of music videos?
I'm gonna propose a theory behind that. I think it's because Big Bang and those kind of groups, like, they don't really need that help.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like Lehigh is a solo artist, and like she's kind of like a cult favorite of a lot of people, and she kind of does need that push into like this mega stardom that some other K-pop idols have. So
I mean, that's what I always hate about K-pop, right? It's like when a group gets successful and they start doing really well, that's always when I feel personally that their music starts to really suck shit because the company doesn't have to use their top songs on them anymore, right? Like sorry, Josh, but Girls' Generation, they had shit fucking songs for a very long time because they didn't need it, right? Like there's so many groups, like I think like SHINee, they could just sing anything they wanted and get a lot of people because they're already big. Yeah. And it's the same with music videos, I guess, right? Like
I would equate it to like kind of just brand marketing, right? Like it's very a business oriented decision because they're the Girls' Generation brand. Like they already have like such a huge following that they don't really have to like keep pushing the bar and getting better and better and better and better because they already have like a huge fan base. They're already killing it in terms of numbers. Right,
but that's sad. It shouldn't be like that.
It's very sad, right? Because like us as consumers, we want to see like the best things used with the best people. Like we want that perfect thing, No,
not even perfect. This is like why I've always kind of hated diehard K-pop fans because like I think by being diehard K-pop fans, they are in part, they're not the whole reason, but they're in part responsible for
this.
Yeah. Where like, because if they buy everything, if they think everything's the best thing ever, then you're right. Why would SM spend extra money or use blah 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 on the group, right? If you can just shit out a generic box video, like, and people will still watch it 100 million times, like, well, why would you go the extra mile and spend more money?
Yeah. And there's like a huge group of those like K-pop fans, like hardcore K-pop fans, like a huge number of them who are generally belligerent against other groups, right? Like you'll have someone who's like, say, you know, a Lehigh fan, right? And then they would say like, oh, how do you can't like anyone from SM, like you have to be a YG fan. Like I have run into a lot of those kind of fans in my like time of liking K-pop, and it's sad.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
So
oh, I like BTS, and if you're anything similar to BTS, I have to hate with all my heart.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense because it's like if you like that style, then it makes sense that you would like this other group's style because they're similar. But that's just not how it goes, and those kind of fans and that kind of like fandom will really push these companies to keep doing shit like this.
Yeah. But then, you know, that kind of ties into like what I wanted to kind of talk about for the second half of the show, which was like kind of the future of us.
This whole thing,
We had a really long talk. We had multiple really long talks about this because, well, the main thing is that we've been doing this for, I mean, you've been doing it for about 2 years. I've been doing it for about 3 years and a couple months. Yeah. And like, I mean, we have really awesome, really loyal, really great listeners and commenters and all that stuff. But, you know, I started this because I just wanted someone to talk to, right?
Yeah, it boils down to like we're doing this because it's a hobby of ours.
Right, but there comes a point, at least for me, where like, you know, what I started and what my ambitions when I started and my ambitions in the last year or two are different, right? Like once you start growing, you're like, damn, like I want to grow more, right? Yeah. And once you see, I'm personally jealous of a lot of other, YouTubers maybe, because we see their growth and like and we see how much effort that like I put in. Whether or not our stuff is better or not, that's up to people to decide. But like. We have not grown much in the last year. Is pretty much what I'm trying to say. And we've tried new things like the weekly update. Me doing stuff with Drama Fever, buying a new camera and expanding our video podcast with the after show, which you're listening to now. And our views are very much kind of stagnated. For a while now. And then there's the problem with like I don't know yet, but I might go home. There's a
possibility,
I might go home in
August.
And once I go home, that's a big problem because
we won't be in the same country for one, right?
Yeah, and while we've talked about the podcast still going on, it would primarily go on as an audio podcast because the video stuff won't work since we're not in the same room anymore, which pretty much means any reason to check our YouTube channel, which we've spent a lot of time on, sometimes we neglect, but, which means all that kind of work and stuff is kind of all gone, which is really sad. And, Kelvin promised me that we would still do the podcast when I moved here, and that didn't happen. So, I don't know for a fact that if I go home, Josh says he promises and I say I promise that we'll continue, but, we'll be 14 hours apart and who knows if that'll happen.
Yeah, it's easy to make certain promises, like not even about this, but it's easy to make certain promises when you're not put into a stressful situation yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like when Steven goes home, like who knows, like he might need some time acclimating, he might be trying to find a job and we might not even have time for the podcast. So even though Steven and I, right now, we really, really have a strong desire to keep the podcast going if he does go home. But, I mean, the future is the future for a reason. Like, you can't really promise anything 100% is the problem.
Right. And the reason this kind of transition from crazy K-pop fans is that, like, when I started the podcast, I thought, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of Josh doesn't listen to any podcasts, right?
I don't really.
And so I had to very convince him of this, of like why we're not convinced in the beginning, kind of explain to him, how podcasts are different. But like, I listen to film and a lot of television shows, and I wanted to make a podcast akin to that, where it's we're not reviewing things, but we're just having a discussion about it, and naturally you kind of learn about these people's tastes, and you don't have to agree with any of them, but like you either learn to not listen to a specific person, or you learn to like, I like his hip hop recommendations, whatever. Like it was all about kind of discussion, but also recommendations, right? Like if we say, hey, you should check this out, and you check it out, like that's the happiest thing for me in my life, is when somebody listens to my recommendation, right? If I'm like, yo, you should watch Jessica Jones, it's a fucking awesome TV show, and someone listens to me, like I get so happy.
Yeah. And it's even greater when someone listens to you and they have the same opinion as you, right?
Yeah, that's even better. That's like the orgasm, like the second orgasm.
That's
right?
that's a cherry on top.
Yeah. And I think what we've really discovered, even though, if you went back 3 years, I probably would have been like, of course, but like K-pop in general, aside from you guys that listen to us, K-pop fans in general don't give a shit about actual discussion, right?
No, they don't.
Like, even the ones that aren't crazy fanboys, even just the normal K-pop fan is like, this is just like it's just music, right? Like, it's not serious. It doesn't matter, right? Like, even though, I spend all my waking hours life either watching or listening to K-pop, like, whatever. I don't need a serious discussion about it because it's not serious. Yeah. And I really think that's one of the reasons why there's really no future in what we kind of do.
Yeah, I would make a comparison to K-pop as kind of like junk food, right? Like, people love junk food. A lot of people eat junk food. But people eat junk food, they're not trying to like digest it for its nutrients or whatever.
But the thing is, so like I actually for many years, well not many years, but for like a year or two, like I would watch this YouTuber. He just reviews Oreos. Yeah. Right? He's not reviewing fucking 5-star restaurants. He's not reviewing fucking, awesome ingredient. He's not Gordon Ramsay, right? He just will eat Oreos and it's fun and it's dumb and whatever. And I'm like, why can't K-pop fans be like that, right? But the problem with the difference is there's no hardcore strawberry Oreo fans, and there's no hardcore like double stuffed mint fans that like, you know what I mean? Like K-pop has all this dumb, stupid little kid, immature junk that like we thought it's okay. We'll kind of we'll find the people that care, and we found a lot of you guys.
We found tons of you guys that we could have this like kind of K-pop discussion with. But the issue is, and it's always been since Steven started this podcast, since I joined, even to this day, is that we are not the majority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also like sounds like we're complaining. And I'm not mentioning the other part, which is since we started and now. I do a lot more work.
Tons more.
Because we used to
I don't
just
think you
record.
Guys really understand. Like before when we used to record, it was relatively kind of just whatever you saw us put out, that was kind of like the
we would sit in front of the webcam, press play. Once we done, I pressed stop, and then we just uploaded that.
Yeah.
But nowadays, because of the camera, because of the editing, because
your stuff with Drama Fever.
I do stuff with Drama Fever. We try the weekly update. Like it takes substantially a lot more time to do what we do with, and we're not seeing much benefit, I guess, in the long run.
Yeah.
But like it's fine because like I'm doing it for the people that watch, but also kind of like. You get a little sad, right? You get a little depressed when you're like, man, like you look at where we are and look at where a bunch of these other channels are, which, like I'm a hating ass bitch boy. Like I think some channels like release, like I don't want to call anybody out, right? No. But our disdain for reaction video channels, which we have done reactions ourselves, but we've never done reactions like other people are doing reactions, right? But like. And we fully understand why reaction channels are big. We fully understand like the appeal of that.
Because they're instant gratification.
Yeah, instant gratification. But like we look at, I remember when we used to shoot reaction videos, and it is so easy.
Yeah.
It is just hit record, freak out, hit pause, upload. It's quick, it's fast, it's easy. We never did it because I think A, it's disingenuous, and B, it's pointless.
Yeah,
but,
because it's not our style, right?
Yeah.
We're not that.
Yeah. But, you know, it's saddening. It's a little saddening when you're like, hey, we started with the same number of subscribers, and now you're at so-and-so 100K, and we're not.
Yeah. And it's part of it is jealousy, right? Because it's like we want to have that many people like kind of in our like discussion group, right? We want to be able to talk to a lot of like K-pop fans. We want to be able to like, you know, receive this kind of like attention, I guess, right? But it's like, you know, when you put in a lot of effort, you're kind of expecting it to be a certain degree, right? Like if you put in 5 in terms of effort level, right, and you're getting this much, then, you know, that's where we were before. But now we're putting, especially Steven is putting in like multiple times amount of effort, and there is almost little to no growth.
Yeah, so like, you know, there's a reason we didn't record a K-pop weekly update last week. And you know, like we really tried that, and I really enjoyed.
I think both of us really enjoyed doing it.
Doing it, but again, like recording it sometimes took 4 hours, and then editing it would take another 6 to 8 hours, and like, you know, that's a 12 to 16 hour man-hour thing that we put up, and like, you know, the people that watch it, I think love it. Because the average view time is pretty damn high on our channel, but the problem is that's only maybe 200 people or 300 people.
Yeah.
And even though we know, it sucks that I have to be like, we just don't have time for that. Like the cost benefit ratio of that is just not there.
Yeah. Like I don't know, but probably a lot of our fans like do know of Simon and Martina. And Simon and Martina, they used to do like the videos, and they kind of reached this point where like just making their videos and putting out all these like kind of like, you know, uploads was taking so much time that they had to make a decision whether or not they had to quit their jobs and do this full time, right? But at that time, they already had like a pretty huge following, and they could like, you know, quit their jobs and make videos to some sort of safeness. Of course, it's not really all that safe, but like to some sort of like guarantee that they can continue doing it for a while. But for Steven and I, we don't have a huge like following where we can be like even considering quitting our jobs. And
I don't even think we've ever even made any money.
It's scoffable, right? Like, but that's the issue. Like, we want to do this, but it's coming to a point where we can't make this refined product without sacrificing something else.
But there's also, you know, maybe it just wasn't good, right? Yeah. And if it just wasn't good, then that's another reason to not do it, you know. Yeah. And then that could be the problem with the podcast. Maybe it's just not good. But you know, I don't really edit the podcast, you know. I edit it like video wise, but I don't actually edit the actual podcast. I don't go through it and take out things that unless it's like a break, I have to take a poop or something. I don't actually edit the audio of the podcast. But I have been thinking about trying that, but that takes a lot more time to make a more like succinct, concise, more less rambly kind of podcast. But I think that's something that I might do if we were in different places, because then
it's kind of necessary.
Well, that way we have separate audio tracks. Yeah. Like editing, because right now with the way we record, we're on the same audio track. It's actually really annoying to
kind of separate things, take things out,
to edit things.
Yeah.
But you know, all that said and done is like the podcast, and the majority of people still listen to it on you know, audibly. Yeah. Like that will hopefully still go on for as long as we can.
Yeah.
The video, I mean, if I go home or not, I still don't know yet. But you know, if I go home, the video version will have to stop. There might be a way to do like the old school like via Skype kind of video versions, but it's really sad to me to have to go from this quality back,
to
webcam, like just two boxes kind of quality. Like it pains me to have to go back to that. But maybe if a lot of people really want the K-pop weekly update to come back, like I don't know. Just right now, another problem like is that in K-pop, there's no centralized place for K-pop. Like for video games and for film and all sorts of things. Like I think I've talked about this before, but there's a very interesting movie review or a movie video or a skit or just anything. Not that we do skits, right? Yeah. But like if there's an interesting video about movies, that video will be posted to all the movie related blogs. Yeah. But this is like a one person made it. It's not affiliated with any of the blogs. This is just a rando dude. It's a good video and people share it, right? Yeah. That does not happen in K-pop. None of the major K-pop sites feature videos that are not theirs. Unless it's like super, super crazy and it's like that cute little girl, that cute little baby, what I mean? But nothing about actual K-pop discussion, right? They very rarely will link to even a reaction video, if anything, right? Yeah. And it leads to this like problem where it's like K-pop has such a global phenomenon, it has such little actual content.
Yeah.
Right? Like it has reaction videos, but once you take out reaction videos, there's like literally
reaction videos is like 95% of like
content about K-pop that's not actual K-pop, right? Yeah. That isn't celebrity tied, right?
Yeah.
And like you think about movies, there's so much content you can get from movies and video games and tech and
like so many reviews, so many kind of like just
fun things. There's just so many
fun
things.
Facts, like
yeah. But for K-pop, there's just so little that like originally I thought, oh man, we will be the first ones, right? We'll be the first ones to be like to give a serious look into K-pop.
Yeah.
We're not even that fucking serious, right?
No.
Just not a fanboy on fanboy kind of.
Yeah. And we're not talking about like how all K-pop like has those kind of reviews or those kind of like news stories. I don't know what to call them, articles, I guess, about like just random shit like so and so went to Hawaii, like okay, like that doesn't have any content.
No.
That's just like celebrity news. Yeah. And like we're not talking about like celebrity news because like there's a ton of like K-pop celebrity news.
Yeah.
And I
just don't care about that.
And that's all that K-pop kind of is.
And we know people care about that, right? Like that's fine. We're not for everybody. We're not meant to be for everybody. But I guess this complaining session, it's not meant to be a complaining session. It's just kind of to give you a reasoning behind what may or may not happen in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
And it's just that like the audience that we are meant for is very, very small.
Yeah.
Reaching potential audience members is really, really hard.
Yeah.
Like the only reason like we even have 5,000 subscribers, which in my head sounds like so much, but in the grand scheme of YouTube, it's so little. Most of that comes from when we did reaction videos, right? And like most of them don't watch our videos anymore, right? Like subscribing used to mean something in YouTube, but in the last 4 or 5 years, subscribe is just another way to like something.
Yeah.
Which is like, man, I kind of like what you guys are doing. I'm not, partially because the subscription like box of YouTube is so bad. Like I actually use a third-party program to track all the videos that get released by my subscribed channels because the YouTube one is so bad. But like, our podcast on YouTube only gets a couple hundred, to 1,000 hits, but we have 5,000. Go to any YouTube channel, right? Most of them have 13 million subscribers, but only 2 million per video. Subscriber count actually doesn't mean that much anymore. It's more about the minutes watched. But it is a good barometer of how wide-reaching your stuff is, and our stuff just is absolutely not wide-reaching. The only reason people found our channel for the most part was because of reaction. That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
Because you Google that. You actually
Yeah.
Google it. You don't ever... Who Googles fucking K-pop discussion, right? Like,
Yeah.
very few. And the few that have found us and are probably some of our most loyal and or best supporters.
And the thing is, like, all those people who kind of, like, are literally subscribed to our videos, who watch, like, week in, week out, they are the ones that are kind of, like, trying to reach out and find people to be like, hey, check this out. Like,
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like, most of those people that were reaching for this K-pop discussion, I feel like those people are also kind of quote-unquote black sheeps in terms of things, right? They either don't have a lot of friends who share K-pop interests with them, or they do have a lot of K-pop friends, but their K-pop friends are kind of like, you know, those kind of, oh my god, did you see so-and-so got a new haircut? Like that kind of K-pop fan, right? And so it's a little bit sad that our kind of ambition and our vision for just K-pop and discussion in general just doesn't, it's not really flying.
Yeah, so long story short, it's just like we are going to do the podcast as much as we can, but I mean, you know, but part of it is also our fault, I think. Like, I think there were some things we could have tried and could have done, but we just never did because we were lazy. You know, like I'm still incredibly bad at, you know, we love it when people leave us comments and we love it. I love it when people email us or talk to us on Twitter, but like sometimes I just don't respond for 4 days or a week or a month because I either forget or like, it's one of those like things where like, this happens to me a lot, probably because of my personality, but like, let's say like I forgot to do something and then a day later I remembered. But like, I'm already at that point where I'm like, I already forgot.
I fucked up.
I already fucked up. And I don't want anybody else to know it, or I'm like too embarrassed to admit I fucked up. So just then another day goes by. And then you blink and then all of a sudden
and then
it's 3
it's
months
too
later.
late. And then it's too late to ever respond.
Yeah. Like that happened to me with, I don't know if I've told this story, but like I'm lazy, okay? And I'm also dirty. Josh knows this.
I
You can't
know
really
both.
see it on the camera, but I'm really bad at cleaning. But like in America, my mom got so mad at me. But like in America, I just would never, you know, I drive, right? So you come home from work, you park in the back, you walk inside, you sit on your computer and you're there, right? So I never check my mail because the mail's in the front in a mailbox. And I never go to the front of my house ever in my life. Like, why would I? You know, you go in the back. So I just wouldn't get my mail. And so there were multiple times where my mailbox was so filled with mail that they all got returned back to the post office because they thought nobody was living there. And that actually, that almost made me not come to Korea because something I needed was being mailed. One of the FBI
like background checks.
Yeah, background check was being mailed, and we need that to apply. And like, I just was like, yeah, I'll come whenever. Like, well, you know, the mail will be there, right? If I don't check it for 2 weeks, the mail will still be there. And this was the first time that it was so stuffed up that they took it all back. And so like, I almost missed out on that paper because they were gonna send it back out. But luckily, I went to the post office and was like, I need that mail. And they were like, you dumb fucker. Get your mail. Anyways, long story short, there were many things that I think we could have done to be better. We're not saying we did everything perfect. But we have a lot of ambitions. And we tried a lot of things. And I don't know. I don't know if this is in some way just a kind of admission of like, we're probably not going to try anything else. You know, we're going to stick on with the podcast and like, there's no reason kind of to try that many new things if I'm going home. And we hope that you guys keep watching us and or listening to us because, I mean, we at least want to get to episode 100. We even counted. We were like, okay, if I leave on this day in August, will we reach episode 100?
And we're going to reach like 99,
we'll reach
98.
99, 98, depending on when I leave. Or I would leave, right? So, like, we won't even get 100. And that's assuming we don't take another break because we fuck up, right? So, like, we won't even reach 100, like a video version of 100. And that is really sad to me.
That's really sad. Just talking about this again is kind of making me depressed because, we've talked about this and, like, multiple times. Yeah. And, like, this is something that we do enjoy doing, right? Yeah. It's a hobby of ours. if we really didn't like doing it, we would definitely have stopped by now.
Yeah.
And you know, we do have a really good fan base, and you know, every podcast we were like, oh, you know, thanks so and so for leaving, you know, a review, and you know, we shout out and we thank our listeners, and that is like not even forced. That is really genuine. Like for Steven and I, like we do really value the people who do listen to our podcast, who do leave comments and send those things in. So it's a little bit kind of
Yeah, well, like
depressing.
we want to continue because of all the people that have stuck with us.
Yeah.
And we want to do new things and try to make our channel bigger. But at this point, it's kind of like, I don't think anything we do is going to make what we are doing currently, our personalities, any bigger than what we are. But I want to have to stop it because the memory is going to run out in 50 seconds. So we want to thank you guys for listening to this after show. We're going to be back with the main episode, of course, next week. Episode 88. Please leave us comments with maybe any thoughts about the situation, maybe thoughts that we can do or try out. And of course, if you're listening on the audio version, send us an email. Even though I just said that I'm bad at responding, I will try my hardest. I'm gonna go back to watching Daredevil because it's fucking Daredevil, and let's go. Bye. Bye.